wave at me and let me know you're here. I appreciate that so much. Or put your name in the chat. Say, you know, where you're tuning in from. And we're talking about staying pumped up. That's been our series this month in February. And we are on day 4 of staying pumped up. And we're going to talk today about, you know, when you're an online entrepreneur, you're a what do you call it? Soulpreneur or a full-time entrepreneur. That's what you do. And you know, it's when you're working for somebody else, you have to get in your car, you got to drive to work, and you go in there and you got to sit down at your desk and you got to work at that desk in that office or wherever it is, or in that secretarial pool, or at the grocery store or the fast food store, whatever, wherever you're working, you have to leave your home and go. Well, when you're an entrepreneur, a stay-at-home entrepreneur, your venue can be anywhere. If you're a laptop entrepreneur, if you're using the internet, if you're not out knocking on doors, you can work from anywhere, really. So let's say, you know, you're getting to where you're just kind of like, I'm just bored, or I'm getting frustrated because I see these 4 walls every day, every night. You know, this is where I live where I work. Guess what? Change your venue. Take your laptop. Go to the local coffee shop. There's so many coffee shops like Starbucks. They let you bring your laptop in. Go to the library. There's a lot of, I don't know if they have them so much anymore. I know for a while there they had those little standalones where you could get Wi-Fi. You might pay so much for an hour of Wi-Fi or whatever. But I think what happened was a lot of them were you can go in there and use one of their computers, and then now you're at the casino and you're playing cards and playing poker and, you know what I'm saying, betting, and they got caught. It was like illegal and they got shut down. But I still think there's places that have a room or an opportunity for you to be able to come in and set up your laptop and work. A lot of restaurants have Wi-Fi. If you can get one that's not so noisy, find one that's quieter. If you have to do, like when I was getting certified to be a life business coach, our professor, she's a laptop lifestyle entrepreneur, and she was going everywhere. She moved from one state to the next while we were being trained, and we visited with her. All of our trainings were online, and she was at the restaurant because where they moved to, they didn't have Wi-Fi because they just moved. They didn't have it all set up and everything. So she didn't have Wi-Fi at home. She'd be out on the street, you know, sitting at a park bench. She'd be at a hotel. Maybe she went on a little weekend getaway for her rejuvenation for herself. That's what you got to do as an entrepreneur. You got to take care of you. And we'd be with her on her camera at night, sitting outside, and she'd be giving us our lessons. It's an awesome way to live. Let me tell you what, it's an awesome way to live, and I'm so looking forward to being able to do that. Monday through Friday, 7 days a week, 30 days out of the month. I'm just so excited to be living that lifestyle. Looking very much forward to it. So that's one thing that you can do to keep yourself pumped up is change the venue of where you're doing your work. And then now, step number 2, if you're feeling stuck, you know, like as let's say you're creating courses, or you're creating content, or you're creating a training video, and you're just kind of like, you're stuck. You know, I get that way, you know. I've been trying to help everybody that I talk to on my Facebook Lives in any way that I can. And I don't know what you need. You got to tell me, what do you need? And so I reach out to my audience and ask them. I try to give them a hint, you know, give them some ideas so they can be thinking about what would they like to talk about. And they come back and tell me. And that's how I get unstuck, is by you guys help me get unstuck so I can help you to move forward in your business and move forward in your personal life. So if you're stuck, do something out of the norm. You know, what's you know, if you have a normal schedule, normal duties, like I try to be here at 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, Monday through Friday for you guys on my Facebook Live. That's because I have a day job that I have to go to. So I want to make sure that I can be here for you, and I can be all I can be for you, so you can be all you can be for you. And I would rather do it in the mornings before I have to go on to my day job than at night when I get home, when I'm probably beat or exhausted, not myself, or not the best I can be for you guys. So that's what I do. And that's what you can do too when you're feeling stuck, is figure out what's the best time for me. Hey Amy, good to see ya. How are ya? Happy to have you here. And so just do something out of the norm. And if you're stuck because of fear, you know, we talked yesterday about finding people that are positive to hang around so they can help you, encourage one another, get an accountability partner or someone that you communicate with almost every day or very often anyway. And if you're feeling stuck, ask their opinion. If they're a good friend, they'll help you out. And then step number 3 is don't be so hard on yourself. So we've been talking during our how to stay pumped up with getting yourself organized, having a goal, setting daily tasks, and don't beat yourself up if your task list keeps growing instead of shrinking. That's not a bad thing. Believe me, it's not a bad thing, because you always want to have something to be doing to better yourself, improve yourself, and keep your business growing. And if your task list is getting to where it's 0, that tells me that you're not moving your business forward. That's for me, definitely. Okay, Pat. Specifically what you're talking about on what I just said. You're talking about fear, you're talking about being stuck. And step number 3, don't be so hard on yourself. Is that what you're talking about? Sometimes you are hard on yourself. Is that what you mean? Yeah, you know, and it's easy to do because you have expectations of yourself. So sometimes you might want to just sit and review the expectation that you have of yourself and be honest with yourself. Is that expectation something that's achievable, or is it something that's unrealistic? That's what you want to make sure. Okay, step 3. That's what I thought, Pat. You want to make sure that that task that you set before yourself is an achievable task. If it's out of the ability that you may have to succeed, you're setting yourself up for failure. So maybe take that task and look at it and say, this is what I need to be doing. Okay, well, let's go down here and say, to get to where I want to be, or to achieve that duty, that task, I need to do this. Step 1, I need to do this. Step 2, I need to do this. Step 3, so that you're not overwhelming yourself and you're keeping yourself in a spot of your ability. Maybe you have an idea. Let's say, for example, me. I want to start creating some webinars that I can have some awesome content where I can give you guys value, and you can go and you can click on it and you can get access to that webinar so that you can watch that webinar when you have time. And I've got to learn how to do that. So that's where I'm at right now, learning about webinars, but I got to start down here at the bottom. What's my first step? I want to have webinars. This is what I want to have. But I'm just not going to wake up one morning and it's going to happen. Poof. No, it doesn't happen that way. Am I hard on myself? No, I don't think so. Have I been hard on myself? Maybe. Do I reach out to someone when I'm stuck? Of course. We all need to have a coach. And if someone is in business and they're an entrepreneur and they're a soulpreneur, that is more reason for them to have a coach, because they need someone to connect to help them to stay motivated and stay positive and to brainstorm with. So just because you're a soulpreneur doesn't mean you don't need a coach. Okay, so take a look at what you have accomplished. If you're someone that tends to be hard on yourself, give yourself the kudos, and like we've been talking about this week, pat yourself on the back, celebrate. Oh, thanks, Pat. You're a great coach too. I love it. Love hanging out with Pat. She's a very wise woman. So you look at your accomplishments and you give yourself a pat on the back. You celebrate your the tiniest accomplishment. And you look at, where did you start? Way back here. Remember the first time that you made that decision to become an entrepreneur. What, 5 years ago? 3 years ago? 1 year ago? Go back to that moment when you had that emotional aha moment with, this is what I want to do. And remember that, and how you've come, how far you've come, where you are at right now. And always, always, always remember, there is another day. Tomorrow is coming. Okay, Amy says, I help others in my job, but my biz and outside work, I have a hard time asking for help. Probably in general, I get stuck and coast for long amounts of time. Yeah, Amy, you know, you're really not alone. That's a given. It's just human nature. We all think that we don't need help, or we all think if we have to reach out to someone, that shows us as a failure, and it doesn't. It makes us the person who knows themselves and agrees with themselves and cares enough about what they're doing to move forward at a faster pace because they reach out for help. Reaching out for help does not mean that you are worthless. No, you are perfect just the way you are right now, and tomorrow you're going to be even more perfect as you progress in your business and as you reach out to other people. You just got to make sure you're finding that right person to connect with that will stand strong with you. And if you happen to reach out to someone and you don't have a good feeling about it, you may not want to continue. If you reach out to someone and you kind of like what they're saying, it just doesn't resonate with you, or you're thinking, you know what, I'm not so sure that I agree with that concept. You know, don't just take it at face value. Make sure that you're doing your homework too. So I'm MJ here. If you're jumping on live, please wave at me. Let me know you're here. My name is MarJean M. Christensen, and I am a certified life business coach. And we are talking in the month of February about staying pumped up, how to stay pumped up. It doesn't matter if you are an online entrepreneur, or if you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, or if you're just a stay-at-home mom, or if you're just an everyday Joe who struggles with life in general. These tips that I provide to you can help you in your everyday life as well as in your business. And so we're talking